Warzone 1 in 2024. That may not be as much of a pipe dream as we thought before. By the end of this, we're going to talk about, first off, an attempt by the community, my community to be exact, on trying to force a match inside of Caldera. I'm going to link at the end of the video my video on showing you how to get into Caldera, at least the matchmaking. We're going to attempt to force the matchmaking to work by bombarding it with a bunch of players this Saturday. That's going to be 12/14 at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. So if you want to be part of this community experiment of trying to force a Caldera round, join us. You can either come into the stream or just start queuing on December 14th at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. We're going to attempt to get a game going. So in honor of that, we're going to be playing Warzone 1 loadout inside of Warzone as it is right now. We're going to be running, of course, the quintessential first meta loadout. This is the M4, and then we're going to be running that with the Lightman Shroud Decimator, which is the MP5 40-round mag, and this is going to be in a hipfire build. So we're going to run around here on Plunder, and we're going to talk about what's going on inside of Warzone, what is the future for Warzone based on the leaks that we have, and what has actually been changing inside of Warzone the last couple of weeks. And we're off rocking our quintessential Warzone 1 loadout, dropping off into Plunder. So let's talk about some leaks and rumors for the upcoming stuff for Warzone and why this is going to directly affect what is going to happen for us in Warzone now. So Ghost of Hope is a person who is on Twitter. He makes a bunch of posts about leaks and all of that jazz. He has been very right for the last few years on the way that the game's been going and on all of his leaks. So we can take a lot of this with a little bit of believability. He has recently called that in the next Call of Duty that's going to be run by Sledgehammer is going to be an expansion on Black Ops 6, and it's going to keep Omni movement and introduce wall running, meaning that you're most likely looking at a slightly more futuristic Black Ops again in some form or fashion. We don't expect it to be a jetpack wall runner, but we expect to have wall running back into the game, which is either a hit or miss depending on who you talk to. A lot of people prefer, or a lot of people over the years have stated that they prefer the boots on the ground style gameplay. But for the most part, the community has been pretty vocal about the fact that they weren't wanting wall running or anything like jetpacks in their titles. But not only that did they mention that wall running was coming in for the next title, but now it's coming out that the next Call of Duty from Infinity Ward will be a new Modern Warfare title, which will continue the wall running, and that they will be remastering the Modern Warfare 3. That's the 2011 Modern Warfare 3, not the one we just had, but the 2011 Modern Warfare 3's multiplayer maps for that game as well. Now, with all of that being said, we already have been pretty much confirmed indirectly that the next time that we get a big map other than Verdansk will be the 2025 Black Ops expansion, essentially, from Sledgehammer. And that will introduce Avalon. We already are getting Verdansk this year, but it's coming in later. So hopefully we don't only get 6 months of Verdansk. Hopefully they continue to maintain both of those main maps rather than just getting rid of a map like they continuously do. So hopefully we will be seeing more maps and less lost content in between each of the content changes. Now, let's talk about what has been the most recent changes in the game on Warzone itself. Recently, they managed to remove most of the visual recoil from the game and managed to leave most of the actual recoil in the game as practical recoil rather than visual, which is good because visual recoil offers nothing but a hard time for most players to be able to see what they're shooting at. And there are people who are kicking back against the removal of visual recoil. I don't know why, but obviously everybody's entitled to their own opinion, even if I don't understand it. But visual recoil really doesn't do anybody good. And I will be the first to agree that the amount of recoil in this game is too low. And I think that we would all benefit if they would increase the recoil a bit, or at least disable, remove, or rework the way that the new XM4 buffer stock is working, because that thing is way too effective. I see daily people asking for a nerf or removal of the massive magazine on the XM4, and I think most of it comes down to not specifically the XM4's magazine size, but because the buffer stock is just that oppressive. And it really is. I don't understand why Call of Duty continues to put out attachments that completely and utterly remove all recoil from guns, but they like to do that, don't they? Hopefully, though, we will see some more balance to the game. because it will do us all some good if they stop producing zero recoil weapons and attachments like that, because it just basically breaks skill gapping, and of course it does force a very, very toxic meta when you start introducing zero recoil with some of the faster TTKs in the game. Another thing that we've been seeing a lot of is, of course, and rightfully so, the continued outcry for Call of Duty to address both terrible servers and the just absolutely atrocious cheater problem. Now, luckily enough, for the last few days on stream, I haven't ran into a ton of cheaters, which is really nice. It's been a nice break. I cannot say the same specifically about servers where being shot around corners and just overall non-responsive fights can lead to some very terrible feeling gunfights. I would like to see, obviously, a complete overhaul of the way their servers work over the next couple of years, preferably either increasing the tick rate or making sure that there's a larger number of them for proper stability, because as of right now, whatever they're doing just isn't working. We've had them remove the blood splatter effect on certain shots now, rather than actually just adjusting the way that the servers run, so that way people are, you know, actually getting awarded for their shots that they land, you know. It's little things like that that obviously breaks trust in communities. Now, I know just from my YouTube comment section alone, I see a lot of people daily telling me, hey, I've stopped playing this game. It's just not fun for me. And you know what? That's completely understandable. There is a lot of things out on the horizon right now that have been a lot of fun, that are looking like they're going to be a lot of fun, a lot of new game modes, a lot of new games. I know personally I've been super excited for and been playing Delta Force. I like it a lot. It's a good old title. Fortnite just released its 5v5 tactical shooter, which seems to put a Fortnite first-person BR on the horizon. The new Marvel Rivals, if you were an Overwatch fan, you might like Marvel Rivals, as it's essentially enough Overwatch with Marvel characters, and everybody loves their good Marvel characters, it seems like. So with lots of new games on the horizon and Call of Duty failing to meet expectations, it doesn't seem like a bad time to branch out and to try some other games. With that being said, just because you decide to branch out and try other games doesn't mean that you can't enjoy another game as well. You don't have to completely give up for all of eternity on Call of Duty because you wanted to play something else or because it's not making you happy right now. Understanding that there are multiple games out there and that you can enjoy multiple games goes a really, really long way to, you know, keeping your sanity. Now, of course, here's the moment where I need to, you know, say thank you for the devs for the things that they have fixed. Again, the recent change to the recoil system does make this game feel a lot more like the Warzone one that we grew to love back in the Verdansk all the way to Caldera era. The overall increase of the Black Ops 6 weapons and making them a little bit more enjoyable has been really nice. I do believe that we should have probably left behind the old weapons just because I don't think that they've done anything to really improve the way that they feel or run. So I don't know if any of keeping the Modern Warfare 3 and Modern Warfare 2 weapons were really worth anything. We might have been better off on just a reset, keeping our characters and removing the old weapons. The old weapons really don't add anything new, and the fact that they have to constantly just readjust the Black Ops weapons to make up for the fact that some of the Modern Warfare weapons are just so strong, and then vice versa. But they've continued to put out a lot of updates, continuing to try to work on the game to make it preferably work better. They have gone through and they have actually quickly changed things that they were trying to enforce, like the ammo box change, which was forcing you into getting a little ammo for everything rather than getting all the ammo for the things you had, which was more frustrating than rewarding. It did sound like a good thing to do at first, but after just a day or two of using it, it was easy to recognize that it was not working out the way that we as a community would have probably wanted it to. They've continuously pushed out update after update, almost to the point of it being every other day, to continue to try to get the game into a place where we as a community will be mostly happy with it. Even when we had Verdansk, and even when we had everything in Warzone 1, we were still frequently upset because, you know, we wanted things to be better. And I think it's always important that you do be vocal about the things that you enjoy, whether it's things that they've done well or things that they haven't done well. I think it's important to both compliment devs when things are working right, and you need to obviously call them out when things are working wrong. Because if you don't encourage them when they're doing things right, then they won't know how to fix it. And if you don't tell them off when they're doing things wrong, then they won't know that they broke it. And that's just a bit how I feel. Just a bit how I feel. And I think this is probably the first time when the Call of Duty community has been doing a really good job of not letting the BS kind of slide, because we've gone through a lot of updates over the years where... So that right there is wrong. His armor vest just fell through the floor. I don't like that, because that means it's inside that wall, isn't it? Oh, no, there is. Haha. But yeah, we've gone through multiple years of this 6 months forward to go 6 months back on every update. So we're hoping that this time will be the last. I know that's probably a bit optimistic, but we're hoping that this time will be the last that we ever have to deal with the fact that they continuously lose 6 months of updates. But here's to hoping. I know this has been a lot of information, but thank y'all for hanging out through it. Again, running the M4. This is the one from Modern Warfare 2. And then running that with the Lackman's Shroud, which is just essentially enough. The Jag Decimator is the MP5. A little bit of a Warzone 1 nostalgia build here. I will pull the builds up here again at the end. But as a reminder, we are going to attempt to force Caldera to work. I am going to link the video here at the end here for you so you can see how to get into Caldera and into Warzone 1 in 2024. And hopefully you'll join me this Saturday. That is going to be December the 14th at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. We're going to attempt to all queue into a round of Caldera and see if we can't kick it up. So thank y'all so much for checking out the video. I appreciate you very much. Appreciate you very much. I will see y'all soon. Until next time, ladies and gentlemen, and everyone else, peace.